really, really good. Another thing to consider is seed collecting. So we're very fortunate that we have a group in Peterborough that have plots, like I mentioned, all over the city, and they collect seeds. And then in the spring, we have a day called Seedy Sunday, and that's where all those seeds are made available. Like they sell them to people, and also they have plants too that they sell. But it's a yearly thing, and so it's important to collect the seeds. And Nourish offers workshops on how to collect seeds. And that's important too, because not all the gardeners are experienced gardeners. So if you can help them, if you can offer workshops on how to grow a garden or how to collect seeds and things like that, and even on canning, like workshops on canning, because it's nice to grow this stuff, but if you don't know what to do with it, and this is what I'm finding at the food bank, is that we have a lot of people going through. Not everybody goes for the produce. Now, sometimes it could be because they may not have the utensils to prepare food. Like, they may not have pots and pans, or depending what their situation is. But sometimes they just don't, like you say, would you like some kale? Well, first of all, they don't know what it is. And secondly, they don't know what to do with it. So if you offer them recipes or offer workshops to show them how they can use the fresh produce, that could be beneficial. The next thing you have to consider is, you have to compost, and all the community gardens in Peterborough have to be cleared by a certain date. And this is our compost heap in 2017, but like I said, this year, I don't have a picture of this year, but we have a proper composter bin that was made with the pallets. So, but it's important to have one, because the wheelbarrow full of stuff, that was all retrieved from the gardens at the end of the growing season. So that has to go somewhere. And if you can make compost with that, well, that's a bonus, because then you can put the compost on your garden plots the following year, if it's properly maintained. And again, find out at the beginning of the year, is there anybody who has experience in composting, or who wants to be in charge of the composter? Because, sometimes you have to know a little bit about composting. And again, that's where Jill came in, the coordinator. She, offers workshops on composting. So it's nice if you have the experts that can help you with different aspects of the community garden. The other thing is taking care of the tools and your water cistern. So does anybody know how to take care of tools over the winter, like in the fall? Does anybody have experience?
Yeah.
Yes? How do you prepare your tools?
Well, it's wooden handles, and then you rub them down with rinsing water.
Yeah,
Keeps them from drying out.
that's right, yeah.
And you don't need no things. But anything that's, we just put something to keep the rust and keep them clean, dry.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Hoses, like we did on North,
Yes?
so we make sure they're drained.
Oh, yes.
We roll them up and then we store them in the shed. But
Yeah.
cleanliness is the worst. Like, make sure that they're all clean and dry
Yeah.
before you put them.
Yeah, you can take a wire brush or steel wool and just take the rust off, but then my husband sometimes puts vegetable oil on them.
Yeah.
Or I've heard of some people just sticking them in a pot of sand, to clean them. But it's really important, like you said, emptying the hoses, that's important too. You don't want it to, if there's water, it's going to expand and it's going to crack the
Especially
hose.
I find that
The nozzle, yeah.
the nozzle little guns,
Yes,
you gotta make sure they're dry. 'Cause
yes,
next year
absolutely.
you come back, the O-rings are gone, and because there's lights in it, and it pops everything. And
That's
puts it in
right.
Plastic and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Now
It's important for the wooden handles, though.
oh yes,
Like if you linseed oil them like every fall,
they'll last forever.
that rake and that shovel, you pass it on to your next generation.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yep, yep. This is our water cistern, And we had an outside hose on the building, and a water cistern, and their plot fees pays to have a truck come and fill their water cistern on a regular basis. We didn't want to do that. We wanted access to water when we needed it, but we were very fortunate because the superintendent gave us permission, like she got permission from the owners of the building, and so we ran a hose from the building to our water cistern, and as the water would go down, we would fill it up. But we had to make sure before the winter that was empty. Some have rain barrels. You can't just put a rain barrel out and hope that the rain will fill it up. It doesn't work that way. You have to have a structure that the rain comes off the roof into the rain barrel. Like you have the east trough that goes into the rain barrel. So if you have a shed or some kind of a structure, then you place the rain barrels at each of the corners to collect the water. So some community gardens do it that way. Again, you have to make sure that those rain barrels are empty at the end of the season. And it's important to celebrate. For us, the first year, I don't think we had a harvest dinner, but this year we had a potluck. But I know that Jill usually has a harvest dinner, and everybody in the city who had a plot was invited to come, and it's in a bigger location. But this year, for the first time in the building, they have a little room where they have social events, and so they actually had their first potluck to celebrate their bountiful harvest. And the last thing is you have to, it's very important that you thank all the people that helped you with your community garden. And that's either through Facebook, in the newspaper, send out thank you notes. The coordinator of the Tallwood Gardens sent a thank you note to our conference, St. Vincent de Paul Conference, and her words were very touching, and I think that's why our conference didn't hesitate to donate the following year. And when they said we'd like to do it, we should be doing it every year, I think a thank you note goes a long way. So that's something that you really have to, I think it's something you have to do. You have to thank people. And at the end of the season, it's important to have a meeting so that you can talk about, what succeeded and what didn't, things that you might do differently the next season. Our garden in 2017 had 24 plots, and it fed 15 families and a few individuals, but this year we had 36 plots and 50 gardeners. And like I said before, there were plots added for the kids, for seed collecting, and for the food bank. And I'm sure that next year it's going to grow even more, because some people, one plot wasn't enough. They wanted an extra plot. And I know our Syrian family, they wanted 2, and they asked if they could have 3, but they were told that if nobody else wanted a plot, then yes, they could have 3, but they'd have to pay like the $5 fee for each of the plots. But that's how much they like gardening. So, in conclusion, community gardening is just one way of addressing the ever-increasing cost of fresh produce and food insecurity in our community. Everyone should be able to eat healthy food, and we need to engage the marginalized and equipping them with the knowledge, the skills, the tools, and the space to grow their own fruits and vegetables. And by helping the people we serve to grow nutritious foods, we're ensuring that they are adequately fed and that they're helping to provide for their families. And I believe that's it. Yep.